We have 6 players remaining. Action going to the man who used to use that cheat sheet, Tony Bahari.
Well, said he wants to be the first player to ever take down a WPT title from the Fiji Islands. He could do that tonight if he could win here.
Well, he's got a wired pair of 7s, and he's going to raise with it. Makes it 36,000 to go. The smiling bandit, Kathy Liebert, out, as well as Chau Vu. And now the pro out of Chicago, Chris Moore, has picked up ace-queen. And last year he won the win event, picked up close to 700,000. I mean, this kid's a player.
Is going to re-raise it here to 105,000 with an ace-queen.
Thao Lee from San Jose, California, quickly folding his hand. And now Brecher, the chip leader, looks down at a Jack-10. Won't play that. So back on Tony Bahari.
Yeah, tough to play these mid pairs. When you raise it and the guy comes over the top of you, what do you do now? That's the question.
Tony got to this event through a $1,000 satellite, and he's going to make the call.
Flop comes 8-8-3, so Tony out in front with 8s and 7s. He checks.
Chris Moore, will he make the continuation bet like most pros would? Showing aggression with just ace high. Yes, he does. Putting in 125,000.
Tony's going to make the call with the 2 7s.
Tony was the general manager of a car dealership in Oakland. Now playing poker, and look at this horrible card there for Tony. Queen hits the board.
Great card for Chris, though. And both players check as the queen comes up. Now 5 of clubs at the river. Action back on Tony. Now, Vince, the way this hand was played, he might think his 2 7s are the best hand here. His opponent made a continuation bet on the flop, but checked on the turn. Tony's going to check on the river, however. And Vince, you can just look at this guy and tell he's not slow playing something.
300,000.
And Chris picked up on it as he bets 300,000 here.
Gotta admit, Tony is easier to read than a stop sign. Just look at that face.
Vince, the way this hand was played, you could see him calling here. If he puts his opponent on ace-king or ace-jack, he might call with the 2 7s.
Go to the cheat sheet, my man.
I was afraid with that flop, man. You might have bigger overs than what I have. Bigger pocket pair. I'm gonna re-raise with ace queen.
Ooh. And he said he wouldn't re-raise with an ace-queen. Right there he's marching with 2 left feet.
All right, Chris. It's yours.
Oh boy, this is a good laydown by Tony.
Well, it is. Whatever he put him on, it beat his 2 7s, so he does make a nice laydown.
Strong pocket pair, Chris.
Pocket pair.
How big?
I think I had you.
I had a bigger pocket pair. I don't know how big your hand was for the re-raise.
Pretty big.
That's what got me shy when it came to leading out and betting.
Okay.
Wow, a lot of truth being told here at the table. Both guys being very honest, quite confusing if you ask me.
Well, action's going to be on Chau Vu, former champion of this event back in 2000. Looks down at an ace-8 offsuit. Now he is on the short stack here. Is this the hand he wants to go with?
Born in Vietnam, came to the U.S. about 20 years ago. And he says all in with his ace-8. It's about 202,000. Chris Moore going out. Thao Lee looks at a queen-jack. Nope, won't play that. And now chip leader Steve Brecher with an ace-3 of diamonds and the button. He's known as a pretty tight player. But he elects to fold.
How much is it?
Now Tony's picked up a pair of 8s here.
Oh boy.
He just got burned with the mid pair of the last hand.
I came into 10 not wanting to get in so many pots, and these mid pairs screwed me up so far, huh?
No, Vince, he should not be saying that. Kathy Liebert's still in this pot in the big blind. He's essentially told her what he's got.
Yeah, that is a mistake, my man. Cheat sheet backfiring in many ways.
All right, I call.
Well, he's going to make the call with the 2 8s. Kathy goes out.
Yeah, Kathy doesn't have much, so here we go.
Well, Tony's got to love this as his opponent turns up an ace-8. Chau Vu gonna have to get lucky to stay alive in this tournament. The two snowmen well out front here. Well, flop comes King, Jack 10. And that does give Chau a straight draw. A queen would win it for him, as well as an ace.
Chau Vu would love to stab at this 9 of diamonds on the turn.
Well, this means a 7 would give them a split pot. So Chau needs a 7 to split the pot, an ace or a queen to win the pot. Anything else, and he'll be our 6th place finisher.
The local pro Chau Vu in a lot of trouble. Can he get out of it? No, he does not.
3 of clubs on the river. So that's going to do it for the former champion of this tournament, Chau Vu, our 6th place finisher.
Chau Vu is through. He picks up $135,000 for his efforts. We are down to 5 players. Stay with us. We're coming back with more exciting action as one of these players is going to take home $1 million here on the World Poker Tour.
Online poker is back in America. No purchase necessary. Play online poker for cash prizes with players across the U.S. Sit next to your favorite ambassadors like Phil Ivey, Brad Owen, Rampage, Wolfgang, and the rest of the WPT crew. Play tournaments and ring games to win real prizes and experiences, including free entries into next-level poker events in Las Vegas. Sign up at clubwptgold.com with promo code YouTube.
$5 million in career earnings. Very impressive.
She's going after her first WPT title. Best she finished is 3rd. Will tonight be different? Let's go to the table. Thao going away.
Over to our chip leader, Steve Brecher.
Will play his queen 6.
Tony Bahari. He's on the button with king high, lays it down. Kathy going to limp in with the jack 10 of clubs out of the small blind.
And Chris Moore behind her with an ace 3. Not going to raise.
So we're going to have a flop here. It's come queen 9-9 with 2 clubs. Kathy Liebert has flopped an open end, straight flush draw, and checks.
Beautiful possibilities for Kathy here. But Chris not biting here, also checking. Here comes the turn card.
Well, an ace comes off. I bet she's not going to put him on an ace because he didn't raise before the flop, so she's just going to lead out and try to pick up this pot.
And she's going to bet a mile 15,000.
About half the size of the pot. And Chris, with his 2 aces, is going to make the call.
Yeah, Chris with a lot of respect for Kathy Liebert. And the river card hits Kathy Liebert.
She's
Wow.
made the straight. The 8 gives her the queen high straight. Action is on her. Now she bets 40,000. Chris has got aces up with the queen kicker.
Check 10. Check 10.
Look at this. He's calling the hand and he pays it off.
Well, that happens a lot in poker, Vince, as you know. You just feel like you're beat. You call your opponent's hand. You want to see it, so you pay him off.
Yeah, you hate to be right in those situations, but he is. And look at this crowd going crazy over their lady, Kathy Liebert, who has made 6 WPT final tables. Very popular player.
Just call your hand. I still call.
Well, Amanda Leatherman has got one of those audience members, WPT player Dan Heimiller.
All right, Dan, who you here rooting for today?
Kathy Liebert.
Yeah. I know that you've been here before. Did you guys talk any strategy before this tournament began?
It's hard to give her advice because she's got a better record than I do.
Right.
So I really hate to give really good poker players advice. But if it comes down to skill, Kathy should win.
Now, you probably remember Dan Heimiller as Hoss on Bonanza back in the day.
I think he hit the nail on the head here. Kathy is the most experienced player at the table, and look at this. She just made a straight and now comes right back the next hand and picks up the bullets. She's got 2 aces, King Kong.
Oh. Barack Obama of poker hands. What a hand. And she's going to make it 36,000 to go. Chris going out. But Thao Lee in trouble here. He's got the ladies, pair of queens.
Oh boy, is he ever in trouble, Vince. This a powerful hand and no limit hold'em. Only 2 hands can beat it. Unfortunately for Thao, Kathy's got one of them. But he just calls. Vince does not raise with the 2 queens.
Maybe he'll save some money. Steve Brecher going away.
Thao acting like he's grimacing here. He just doesn't want to see an ace or a king on the flop. Oh, the flop has come deuce, deuce, 5. And this is a flop that is going to get Thao in serious trouble, Vince.
Well, he's checking, probably to check raise. Kathy betting with the aces, 40,000.
I just can't see anybody getting away from 2 queens in this situation. I'm very surprised if he doesn't raise here, but he doesn't. He just makes the call here.
He's getting cheap so far.
Unbelievable.
It is.
He hasn't raised before the flop or on the flop, but a 6 comes off.
Action once again on Thao, but this time it looks like he's getting chips ready.
He's playing this hand very uniquely, Vince. He didn't raise before the flop. He didn't raise on the flop when it come 5 deuce deuce. Now he's leading out and betting the 2 queens, 80,000.
Thao is 28 years old. He's an amateur player, but plays here at the Bay 101 all the time. He's a local with an opportunity of a lifetime. What's Kathy going to do?
Well, she's not going to put him on a 3-4, Vince. Just never going to believe he's going to call a raise before the flop with a 3 or 4 to make a straight here. So she's going to come right over the top of him. 230,000 to bet.
Going to try to punish Thao.
She's going to hope that he's got just what he's got. Some kind of overpair here where he can't get away from this hand.
Who could lay this down?
This would be an incredible laydown if he could make it.
All in.
Ooh.
Well, he's gone all in.
I call.
Kathy quickly calls.
Yep, the smiling bandit has called.
Oh, well, Thao Lee in dire straits right here. He got in this tournament on a $100 satellite, and to stick around and continue playing for that $1 million first place prize, he's got to hit lightning in the jug on the river, must catch a queen, a lucky lady against the lady. Yep. Can he do it?
Amateur player, his poker life on the line right now. Can Thao get lucky? Here's the river card. No, it's a 7 of hearts, and that's going to wrap it up.
Well, Vince, you can't blame a guy for getting broke with 2 queens when a flop comes like that. But Thao Lee out tonight in 5th place.
$180,000 richer, and he's got to say goodnight.
If I didn't have jacks, I would have done the same thing.
For the smiling bandit, Kathy Liebert knocks out a player. We are down to 4 here on the World Poker Tour. Lines have gone up to 8 and 16,000. Chris Moore, the pro out of Chicago, has ace-king. He's going to raise it to 45,000 to go.
Well, we still have 1 bounty remaining in this tournament. That's Kathy Liebert. So whoever knocks her out will get an extra 5,000. Or she'll collect it herself if she wins the tournament.
Steve Brecher, quick fold, but now Tony Bahari with a queen jack is going to call it.
Kids today. Yeah, just raise.
Chatty Kathy Liebert not going to call. So we have 2-way action.
And here comes the flop. Let's come ace, queen, 7. 2 diamonds. Tony has flopped 2nd pair, and Tony checks the flop. But Chris has top pair with top kicker.
Yeah, they both hit a hand, and Chris is going to bet with his aces, 55,000.
Tony's going to make the call here in hopes that his opponent doesn't have an ace in his hand.
Okay, he does though, and the turn card is...
That's a 4 diamonds. So 3 diamonds on the board now. Tony's going to check.
And the young pro, 25 years old, out of Chicago, once again going to bet 125,000 this time.
Now, Vince, notice what happened there. Tony picked up his cards. It's like he's looking to see if one of his cards was a diamond, when in fact it is. He's got the jack of diamonds. So he does have a flush draw.
And we're going down to the river.
Well, 9 of hearts comes off. Action on Tony.
That card helps neither player.
Look at this. Tony is now going to lead out and bet 200,000. Well, Chris shaking his head. He's saying, could that card have possibly beat me? What's going on here?
I think you have ace-9, maybe.
Looks like something like that, but we know better. Now, this young player last year won the Win Classic. He won close to 700,000, so he's got game. And look at this, he's made a nice call here.
Oh, I thought you said you had ace-9.
Nice, you got it.
Well, in my view, there's no purpose of Tony betting there. And I say that because the only way he's going to get called is if he's beat.
Don't expect to have such a great kicker too, man.
Tony is an amateur player. A local plays here a lot at the Bay
I guess
101.
that degree
Got in
king
this
versus
tournament
ace is a thing,
by
I
winning a
guess.
$1,000 satellite. What a parlay he's going to make wherever he finishes.
All right. Action right back on Tony. He's got a little suited connector, 5-4 clubs. He's just calling. And the smiling bandit, Kathy Liebert, also calling.
And Chris, who just very happily won that last pot, looks down at ace-7. He's going to call out of the small blind.
Where is the muck?
Everybody is limped in here. Steve Brecher in the big blind looks down at the ace-4. He says, okay, so we've got a family pot. All 4 players are involved. The crowd loves this.
And here's the flop. Well, look at this. Kathy Liebert has hit 3 nines on that flop. 9-9 queen.
So Chris checks. Steve checks as well. Tony also checks. And with the possible straight and possible flush draw out there, Kathy looking to bet the 3 nines, and she does so, bets 30,000.
Chris out. Brecher
I'm
out.
staying there with you, Kathy.
But Tony Bahari
And he says, I'm going to gamble with you.
wanted to spike a club, and he gets it.
8 of clubs comes off.
And he checks it.
And that should be a scare card for Kathy in my view, because it makes the straight and the flush both out there, but doesn't slow her down. She bet 75,000. Well, the amateur player is going to raise it to 225,000. And Vince, Kathy's caution light should be coming on right now. But even if you know if your opponent's got a flush or a straight here, you're still going to try to make the full house. Kathy's going to make the call here.
Nice pot developing river card. Can Kathy get lucky? No, not to be. A 6 of diamonds. And Tony going to try to push in more chips. 300,000.
Vince, in my mind, she should put him on a straight or a flush here. I know she's got 3 nines, but I think it's an easy hand to get away from, but she makes the call here. Kathy just not analyzing what these opponents have when she bets and they raise. Sometimes you got to throw 3 of a kind away.
That is right, but curiosity killed the Kathy. Tony taking down that pot. Stay with us. We're coming back with more on the World Poker Tour. As you can see, it is happy Kathy Liebert, who's our chip leader with close to 4.1 million. One of his players is going to take home over $1 million. Andy's will start at 3,000. Blinds 10 and 20,000. Action going to Chicago. Chris Moore. He's got a queen 10. He's going to raise it to 55,000 to go.
Steve Brecher going out.
The local Tony Bahari on the short stack says all in with a king 8 of hearts.
And he's got 440,000 in front of him. And Kathy Liebert looks down at a pair of 10s.
How much?
And Tony just imploded on the last hand they played. She is the one that just broke him up.
I'm calling.
Well, Kathy's going to make the call.
Yep.
Chris is going out.
Oh, I need a lot of help.
So Kathy Liebert with a chance to put a left and a right to Tony here and take him out of this tournament. She's out in front right now with the 2 10s. Tony Bahari needs help to stay alive.
Well, he made a misstep on the last hand they played when he went over the top for everything when Kathy already had a full boat. And it just destroyed him. And right now he's down to his last chips.
He's going to have to get lucky here to stay alive. Let's see if he can do it. Not on that flop. It comes Jack 7 deuce. Tony's going to have to catch a king, 2 running hearts to make a flush, or 2 running cards to make a straight. Otherwise, he'll be our 4th place finisher.
Yeah, a 3 on the turn. Got in this tournament through a $1,000 satellite. He's an amateur player with a dream. Needs to stab a big card on the river.
Must catch a king to stay alive. Let's see if he can do it. Nope, a 4 comes off. So that's going to do it for the local amateur. Out tonight in 4th place.
Kathy Liebert, higher than a hippie at Woodstock right now.
days, it'll feel a lot better that you got 4th here.
We have to say goodbye to Tony. He's going to pick up 230,000. A big effort from him.
Well, Vince, just a short while back, he was the chip leader at this final table. Made a very bad tactical blunder.
And it's back to selling jalopies in a hurry for Tony.
And Vince, there are no more amateurs left. We are down to 3 pros, including one of the bounties in this tournament, Kathy Liebert. So this is going to be a tough fight to the finish from here.
Kathy Liebert looking at a big chance to winning a title on the WPT, something that has eluded her so far in her career. And here she has King Jack. She's going to raise 60,000 to go. Chicago Chris Moore going out.
Oh, look at this. Steve Brecher has picked up ace-queen. Well, that's a good hand in a three-handed poker game. The question is, do you want to tangle with the big chip leader who's on a roll right now with this kind of hand?
Steve, 63 years old, from Reno, Nevada.
Well, Steve Brecher says, yes, I do. I'm coming over the top, 200,000.
Okay, an additional 140 for Kathy Liebert.
Well, Kathy's on a roll right now, so she's going to take a flop here. She makes the call. So here we go. Well, flop comes ace jack 7. Kathy has got second pair, but Steve has top pair.
It's on Steve, and he's going to trap here a little bit. He checks it. Let's see if he gets happy Kathy to bite.
Well, then she is going to bite. I'm not sure she should go for this. And I say that because if your opponent raised you, you have to jettison 2 jacks here. You have to be fearful of a guy who came over the top of you before the flop and then checks on a flop when an ace comes out there.
Well, Kathy is going to bet. Looks like 300,000.
Yeah, she's falling right into his web here.
All in.
Well, Steve is going all in. And Kathy is now saying, why did I bet? I could have taken a free card here. Look at her. Oh, we've all done it, Vince.
No longer happy, Kathy.
I want to see the rabbit camp.
You see, she wants to see what's coming off next. Wondering if she'd have won the pot, if she'd have checked and gotten a free card.
That's a nice pot by Steve.
Can I see that one?
No, she cannot.
Well, he can't tell us what to do. We're looking anyway. A 4 and a queen comes off. He'd have made ace and queens and won the pot. So good lay down by Kathy there.
So it is Steve Brecher that foils happy Kathy Liebert's day. Stay tuned. We're coming back with more action here on the World Poker Tour.
Online poker is back in America. No purchase necessary. Play online poker for cash prizes with players across the U.S. Sit next to your favorite ambassadors like Phil Ivey, Brad Owen, Rampage, Wolfgang, and the rest of the WPT crew. Play tournaments and ring games to win real prizes and experiences, including free entries into next-level poker events in Las Vegas. Sign up at clubwptgold.com with promo code YouTube.
This is one fun event. We're down to three-handed poker. Steve Brecher, our chip leader.
And one bounty remains, and that's Kathy Liebert, and she is on the short stack with 3 players left. And Vince, I was a bounty here a couple years before the World Poker Tour came around. And believe me, it's like playing poker with a bullseye on your chest. They all want to shoot you down and get that $5,000 bounty.
I bet they do. But let's go back to this hand. Kathy has picked up a pair of kings.
Well, perhaps a little justice after the terrible nightmare that she just went through. And she had ace-king against ace-queen and lost that $4 million pot. Unbelievable.
Just an awful outdraw there. Ace-king up against ace-queen to take control of a tournament that you've never won and then have that happen. What a disaster.
Yeah, she's going to raise it. Makes it 110,000 to go. Chris with the ace high. Be careful about making a move here. He's going to make a call, though. Little does he know she's got such a powerhouse.
Here comes the flop, and it only gets better for happy Kathy, picking up 3 of a kind.
Unbelievable. She has flopped top set. She's got 3 kings as the flop comes king 6-4.
She is going to check. She's trying to trap here.
She sure is.
Chris also checking 10 of spades on the turn.
2 spades out there.
ABBA songs going off in Kathy's head and checking again.
Well, just trying to throw this guy rope, hoping he'll take a stab at this pot. Hit something along the way.
And he's going to check. Doesn't fall into the trap.
Now the 8 of spade comes off. So 3 spades, possible straight, possible flush out there. Again, Kathy checks. And if I had an ace high here, I'd be happy just to check it down. Obviously, Chris is not going to win the pot. And look at this, Vince. He's going to reach for chips. And he's betting 150,000 here.
Man, I play so bad.
Look at the anguish on Kathy's face. I guess most people would just be delighted somebody bet where you could call them a 3 kings, but
I don't know. This is typical.
After losing that last pot with ace-king against ace-queen, Kathy's fearfully made a flush or a straight
150.
here.
Yep, she's getting worried that he stumbled into something.
She's never laying this down.
No.
She's going to make the
Yeah.
call here.
Ace high.
It's not often you check down top set and then make a crying call on the river, but Kathy did it there.
I thought you made your play so bad because you're calling off the worst hand.
I'm calling because, I
thought
play
you
so
had
bad
something
because I
there,
let you
too.
catch whatever you needed to catch without charging you a penny.
I didn't catch anything. You couldn't have done anything.
Huh?
I almost folded pre-flop too. Thought you had a good hand. Almost.
Kathy's
doesn't cut it.
confidence just shattered now after losing that big pot a minute ago to Steve Brecher.
6 final tables, never winning a title. Got to cut us some slack here.
Well, here we go, on to the next hand. Kathy quickly folds, and Chris Moore looks down at 2-8s in the small blind.
Has raised to 130,000. Steve Brecher behind him with an ace-7.
Well, this is the battle of the blinds. When you have an ace high, you just assume it's better than the other guy's hand, even if he raises you here. In this case, Chris has him beat, of course.
Steve, a very calculating player.
Oh, he's going to raise advance. 440,000 is the bet. These are the two chip leaders going at it here. Steve Brecher has Chris covered. You pick up 2-8s here, Vince. Would you just ship it, or you just call to see a flop?
Call.
Chris opting to take the conservative route. Wants to see a flop before he commits any more chips. But a lot of chips in that pot right now, almost 900,000. Oh, and an ace right on the flop. It's come ace, queen, jack. Just a horrible flop for Chris Moore. As he's got 3 overcards out there, he checks. And Steve checks the 2 aces right behind him. Doesn't want to fall in any traps here. Now a 9 comes off. Again, that card no help to Chris. It does give him a straight draw. A 10 would make him a straight.
And he's checked again, and Steve not going to bet.
Well, the board pairs jacks. Well, Chris now thinking, geez, is there a chance Steve's got something like 2 5s or 2 3s here, and I might have the best hand?
500,000.
Well, he is going to bet 500,000.
I call.
You got it. I got 8s.
Steve quickly calls with the 2 aces, just not fearful at all. His opponent might have a jack or something better in his hand.
Just check.
He quickly made the call, which means that was bad timing by Chris Moore to bet right there, Vince, because Steve read him like a book.
So cagey play at the Bay 101 Shooting Star, where they're all going after the over $1 million first place prize and the coveted WPT title. Stay with us. We're coming back with more action on the World Poker Tour.
Going for his first title.
And action going to Kathy Liebert. She's got ace-9 this time.
Now, Kathy comes in for 120,000.
And right behind is Chicago Chris with a 9-10 of clubs is going to call.
He's got those suited connectors you love to see flops with, so he makes the call. Steve Brecher going out.
So two-way action. Ace-9 up against 9-10.
Here comes a flop. Let's come ace-7-8. Kathy has flopped top pair. Chris has flopped an open-end straight draw.
It's action going to Chris. Will he bet it? No, he checks it. Kathy raised before the flop, hits her hand, and she's going to bet the hand after the flop. 150,000. All right, Chicago Chris with a decision here.
Yeah, a lot of money in the pot, Vince. Nearly 450,000, so I'll be surprised if he wouldn't call here. And indeed he does. Calling with the open-end straight draw. 3 of clubs comes off. Now this gives Chris a flush and straight draw, Vince.
But he's going to check it.
Now he's got what we call a semi-bluff hand. Your opponent bets. Many times you just raise with this kind of hand. Happy to win the pot right there, or just gamble that you hit something. But both players check on the turn. Now the 3 comes off.
Nothing hitting for Chris.
Well, he's got to realize now the only possible way he can win this pot is to bet at it. And since Kathy did not bet on the turn, maybe he's thinking she doesn't have an ace and he can steal this pot from her. He's going to try it. 275,000 is the bet. Vince The way she's played it, she just set the table for him to try to bluff at the river here, and she'll pick him off now like a cherry on a tree for sure. She does make the call. She's going to win the pot with aces up.
He doesn't even want to show his hand. Well, nicely done for Kathy Liebert. And there's the talent of knowing when to slow down, when not to bet, and right there you see it. And one of the top pros in the world, Kathy Liebert.
So Kathy Liebert increasing her chip stack.
And with that last hand, we're going to move the blinds up to 25 and 50,000. And a quick fold by Kathy Liebert. And now it's on Chicago Chris Moore, and he's got ace-king this time.
Well, he's not going anywhere this time, I can promise you that.
Going to put in a raise, making it 125,000 to go. And Steve Brecher, our chip leader, 63 years old, with a king 3 of diamonds, is going to make the call.
So the two blinds going at it here. Chris in dominating shape. Now the flop comes 9-5-4 with 2 diamonds. Action on Chris Moore.
All in.
He's moving all in here with the ace-king.
Call.
Now Steve calls with the diamond flush draw.
Wow.
So he's gambling here a bit. He can afford to make this call.
I accidentally raised to 120. I'm at 175. I'm in the lead, but
So everybody on their feet here.
he's got a diamond. Screw that hand up.
Diamond's your girl's best friend, right, guys?
Well, Kathy over there saying, hey, how about rooting for a diamond so I can play heads up for this title? As the cards lie, Chris Moore about a 3-2 favorite to win this pot and double up.
Chris Moore's poker destiny on the line, but that's a good card for him. A 5 of hearts. He's still out in front.
Well, we are down to the river card. Steve Brecher must catch a diamond or a 3 to win this pot. Anything else, and Chris Moore will double up.
Can the young 25-year-old continue
Oh,
this?
6 of diamonds on the river. So that's going to do it for the 25-year-old poker pro out of Chicago, Chris Moore, our third-place finisher.
That's a great Chris.
Screw that hand up.
So the body count grows as Chicago Chris is out. Back to Wrigley Field for him. Third-place finisher, going to pick up 291,000. A great effort by him as he goes over to his friends to be consoled.
Didn't win, but he still won a lot of money. You know what I'm saying, bro? Good work, man.
With over $5 million in earnings, trying to put a WPT title on a resume. Let's see if she can do it.
All right, action on Steve Brecher. He's got ace-4 this time. He's raised it to 125,000. And Kathy behind him with an ace-6.
She's going to test the water here. She's coming right over the top for 400,000. Steve Brecher leaning forward.
All in.
Whoa, wow, he has gone all in here. Now, folks, even though we can see Kathy has the best hand with an ace-6, when you re-raise a guy and he goes over the top all in, and your tournament life is on the line, you just have an ace-6 offsuit, you're not that proud of it. You're fearful he's got ace-king, ace-queen, ace-jack, or even a pair of 7s. As it is, Kathy has the best hand. What is she going to do here?
Well, this would be the call of the night. If she should make this, she'd be well out in front with a big chance of becoming the chip leader. But no, she can't gamble on that. She folds her hand.
Got outplayed there by Steve Brecher. Give him credit, Vince.
Well, a good reader of people, because how did he know that she wasn't that strong? Just good intuition.
Well, Vince, it just tells me Steve Brecher is looking to play big pots to get this thing over with. Really respects Kathy's game. Doesn't want to get into a long tussle with her where she might outplay him. So just go for the big pots. See if you can end it quickly.
Well, in this hand, Kathy has raised to 150,000 with just a 10-8. And Steve Brecher with a queen 5 going to make the call.
Wow, what a daring call by Steve. I know he's been running good here where he's outdrawn a couple people here, but is this stretching it? Well, flop comes king 5-4.
3 spades on the flop.
Steve out in front with the 2 5s.
And Steve has checked his 5s.
Kathy has got the flush draw. Well, Kathy's going to make the continuation bet in hopes that Steve goes away.
That's 200,000.
Now the question is, what's he going to do with his 2 5s? Well, he's going to make the call here, Vince. He studied Kathy for a long time before making that call. You just wonder if he picked up something on her.
Like he's seeing through her cards at this point.
Well, 9 of clubs comes off.
Helps neither player.
So Steve's still out in front with the 2 5s, and he checks. Now, what would you do if you're Kathy? You bet on the flop. The guy called you. Kathy's going to check.
Yeah, the smiling bandit slows down. River card coming up, pairs the board.
Well, the board pairs nines. It's a good card for Steve, in my view. Because if he thought he had the best hand on the flop, he's got to feel like he's still got the best hand.
Well, he checks it. Kathy knows she can only bet this and win. Perhaps make a bluff.
Yeah. She's going to take a stab at it, Vince. 400,000 is the bet. She's going to put Steve Brecher to the test right here. He made a great call on the flop. Will he make another one on the river?
And she is just praying that he goes away. I mean, this is her dream to take home a first WPT title 6 times at this final table. It's eluded her so far, and it's this kind of bet that can make or break her at this moment. Oh.
And Steve has made the call, a great call by Steve Brecher here. And Vince, we've seen him where he got lucky against Kathy when he had ace-queen against ace-king. We saw him outplay her on the hand previous to this one. And this hand, he read her well. And I'll tell you, Vince, right now he owns Kathy Liebert.
What do you have to do to get this Brecher to fold a hand? I mean, she's doing everything. She has great imagination. It's just not working at this point. All right, back to this hand. Brecher this time picking up a queen 10 of hearts. He's raised it to 125,000.
All in.
But Kathy Liebert says all in with a little pair of fours.
Call.
Steve is going to gamble here. I don't blame him. I'd call 2 with his chip count to try to get this thing over with. It's 2 overcards versus the under pair. Kathy Liebert's tournament life on the line. She must win this pot to stay alive.
Steve looking for his first
$1.5 million
title.
in this pot.
I'm looking for my first major title.
Steve Brecher going after his first title. He was humiliated at his first WPT final table.
Oh, what a flop for Kathy. She's flopped 3 fours. Kathy, don't go high 5. Your opponent could backdoor flush or a bigger full house here. She learned her lesson, Vince. She listened to you. Kathy's not doing anything with any of the crowd. Now it's over. Now she can say, okay, I'm taking this pot down. 7 of diamonds comes off. No card Steve can catch to win. King means nothing on the river. Kathy Liebert has doubled up.
So a little redemption there for Kathy Liebert. Can she come back and take home the $1 million and the coveted WPT title?
Online poker is back in America. No purchase necessary. Play online poker for cash prizes with players across the U.S. Sit next to your favorite ambassadors like Phil Ivey, Brad Owen, Rampage, Wolfgang, and the rest of the WPT crew. Play tournaments and ring games to win real prizes and experiences, including free entries into next-level poker events in Las Vegas. Sign up at clubwptgold.com with promo code YouTube.
Don't do that. No, no.
Look at this.
Well, tournament director Matt Savage has brought out Kathy's bounty shirt with the $5,000 in cash on it. And Kathy says, no, don't bring that out here. I'm going to win that myself.
She gets their own
All right, well, Brecher has raised with just a 4-3.
It's happened before.
I know, but you'd have to put it on the table like that.
You get to keep it.
Kathy doesn't quite like that.
I'll take it off.
Call by Kathy.
Get back over there.
Oh, wow. Put it back in the closet, she says.
Boy, being a little tough on Matt there.
Yes.
He's just trying to have a little fun here, but she's not amused.
No, well, she's desperate for this title, and she got lucky here. She hits her kings.
Well, she checks. She is in great shape. It's come king 10-6. She has top pair. Steve has absolutely nothing. And whatever he puts out there is going to be gone very soon.
All in.
Well, Kathy's gone all in. And so long, Steve. He goes out, and Kathy takes down that pot. And look at this. She's turned her T-shirt over.
Oh, that's the spirit.
Wow. She is going to fight to the finish. Doesn't want Steve Brecher to get any notion that he's going to get that T-shirt.
This is just positive thinking. Don't push me around. There are many fans here tonight trying to make things happen. Happy, Kathy. Happy again.
Oh, and look at this, Vince. She's picked up 2 queens and just limps in on the button.
Trying to trap here. Brecher, not much of a hand. 10-4 diamonds.
Well, you give your opponent a free flop here. The guy called a raise with a queen 5 offsuit. Why wouldn't you raise it with 2 queens here? Well, now it's come king 10-6. So Steve has flopped second pair. Kathy out in front with the 2 queens. Steve checks and Kathy has bet 50,000. Look at this. Steve is going to check razor here, Vince.
Yes, he certainly is, making it 150,000.
Well, Kathy quickly calling with the 2 queens, but you're always fearful when the overcard is out there that your opponent's got one of them that matches it. 3 of spade on the turn. Steve with the 2 10s. Kathy with the 2 queens. But Steve, the guy initiating the action here, he check raised on the flop, and here he goes reaching for some chips. Going to put the pressure on Kathy. 275,000 is the bet. Well, Kathy's going to make the call. She's still out in front.
Yeah, it's a crying call, but you got to stick around.
Oh, a 4 comes off.
Oh.
Steve Brecher now has the best hand with 10s and 4s. Lightning on the river once again for Steve Brecher.
All in.
He's going to move all in. And Kathy wants to throw up right now, Vince. She slow played the queens before the flop. Her opponent has now made 2 pair. She called his raise on the flop, his bet on the turn. If she calls this one, it's over for her, folks.
She is no longer happy, Kathy Liebert. Can she have the resolve to lay this down and move on? She's got the first WPT title on her mind. She would love this.
Oh, she is not happy. And you can't blame her, Vince. Tough decision for Kathy Liebert right here. She makes this call, it's over, and Steve Brecher will be our champion. If she lays it down, she'll be short stacked, but at least she'll be able to live on and fight some more.
Steve, 1 moment away from his first WPT title and the $1 million.
And after this long delay, he's praying that she calls.
All she has to say is, I call. And it's over, but no!
Oh, she lays her hand down, lives on to fight another day, and what a good laydown. Really, Lady Luck not smiling on Kathy there, as Steve Brecher hit a river card to gun her down.
Shooting star continues. Heads-up action. It started out with 391 players. We're down to these 2.
Steve Brecher well out in front with 6.6 million in chips. Kathy Liebert with just 1.1 million. Everything going Steve Brecher's way in this heads-up battle. Here he looks down at 10-6 of diamonds. Going to raise it up to 125,000. Kathy has him dominated once again with a 10-8. She's going to make the call.
So 10-6 up against 10-8.
Here comes the flop. Which comes 6 deuce deuce. Again, Kathy out-flopped by Steve Brecher.
Kathy quickly checks.
It's pretty easy body language to read right there that this flop didn't help her.
Yep.
He bets out with a 2 pair, takes down the pot, takes 1 step closer to capturing his dream of winning a WPT title and redeeming himself from his performance at his other WPT final table.
This is no longer a happy Kathy. And if looks could kill, Kathy would be out in front with that right now.
Well, she's got the queen 10 of spade here, Vince.
She is just calling with it. Now Steve Brecher with it, ace 9.
Oh, Vince, when someone limps in on the button, you have to figure ace 9 is the best hand.
And Steve makes it 175, and Kathy's come over the top all in with a quick call by Brecher.
So Kathy Liebert all in with the queen 10 of spade. She must win this pot to have any chance of capturing her WPT dream title tonight. Kathy, the most successful female tournament poker player in history with over $5 million in tournament earnings, must win this pot to stay alive. Let's see if she can do it. Here comes the flop, 6-6 deuce with 2 spades.
She's got a shot of hanging around.
Well, she's got the flush draw, Vince. Steve Brecher out in front with the ace high. Kathy looking for a queen, a 10, or preferably a spade.
4th Street. Popping up. It's not going to help Kathy.
Well, a deuce comes off. Kathy needs a queen, a 10, or a spade to win the pot. She would tie the pot if a 6 or a deuce comes up. Anything else, Steve Brecher will be our champion.
Yeah, the 63-year-old poker pro out of Reno, he's done it.
4 clubs comes off. So there you have it. Steve Brecher's dream of redeeming himself from his other WPT final table performance comes true. He is our champion.
Extreme disappointment for Kathy Liebert. She'll take home $550,000. But there can only be one champion, a new millionaire on the WPT, and that is Steve Brecher. Congratulations.
The last bounty bites the dust. Kathy Liebert signing over her bounty t-shirt to our champion, Steve Brecher.